Love is one of the most dynamic, awesome, and complex emotions that an individual will ever experience in this world. But at the same time, finding somebody that you will truly enjoy spending the rest of your life with is also one of the most elusive things in this world as well. With divorce and unhealthy breakups at epidemic levels worldwide, we need to ask ourselves, is the current system that we use to find the one who will become our life partner, is it really working? And if not, then we need to ask ourselves an honest question. What should we be doing different? My name is Ken Chick. I'm the author of the book, How to Find Forever Love. I wrote this book with one purpose in mind, and that was to help you avoid a future painful and costly divorce by giving you a forever love roadmap so that you could make the absolute best informed choice possible before walking down the aisle to say, I do. We all know somebody that's been affected by the tragedy of divorce. And after planning a church and being a senior pastor of a growing church for almost a decade, a big part of my life was spent helping people walk through the healing process after they experienced a painful divorce. Then after 11 years of my own marriage, I found myself experiencing my own devastating unwanted divorce. Through that process, I resigned from the ministry that I really loved so dearly. And I became at the same time a full-time single father, raising two daughters who were 5 and 7 at the time. And as I went through counseling and the healing process, one thing that I knew in my heart was I wasn't created to be single. But, I knew that if I ventured into those waters again, I had to make sure that I would not put myself and my children in a position where we would experience a similar situation. I decided that I was going to put together and implement a strategy that would guide me to find forever love. They say when you learn from your own mistakes, that's called experience. But when you learn from someone else's mistakes, that's called wisdom. This strategy was developed after over 2 decades of family ministry and my own tragedy to triumph story. It worked brilliantly for me, and now I'm going to share it with you here. So I'm going to unveil 4 things for you today. First, how does the single person find love in today's current culture? Second, can you really follow a roadmap that will bring you to forever love? Third, how to avoid the dangers along your journey, because you're going to find that there could be some major dangers. And fourth, what's the most important secret to finding forever love? Before we take a look at our current culture and how singles are finding each other in this culture, I want to take a look at one other thing to bring to light something that I feel is very important. People will spend years of their lives and thousands and even hundreds of thousands of dollars to go after a college degree, or in researching a home. They'll spend months looking at the neighborhoods. Is the value of the homes going up or down in that community? They'll spend hundreds of thousands, maybe even $1 million plus to get into the home that they want. Same thing with a car. People research and go from car dealership to car dealership to car dealership, spending hours and hours before they finally make a decision on the car that they want to purchase. But when it comes to finding the person that you'll spend the rest of your life with, most people do very little research in this area. And what ends up happening is they end up marrying somebody that they're not compatible with. And then all that money that they had invested in starting a business or the home, they lose a lot of that because they didn't do their due diligence first. Now, the current dispensation of time that we live in has given us incredible platforms for single people to meet each other. Before the invention of the internet, people met locally in their churches, at school, at work, in bars. But nowadays, with the invention of the internet, people have been able to meet each other from all over the world. And it has created a great venue for singles. But most singles, like I said earlier, do not do their due diligence. They don't really know what they're looking for, who they're looking for. Really, they don't know even their own personality and how that can play in a huge way in a long-term relationship and forever love. So they just go out, they meet somebody, maybe for coffee that they met online or at church or something. And from there, the relationship progresses. And if they feel they have a lot in common, they move into marriage. The problem is every year, there's millions and millions of marriages that end up in divorce. We have to ask ourselves, is this process really working for us? And if it's not, then we need to take a serious look at how we are vetting the courtship process, how we're vetting the individual that we're taking a serious look at spending the rest of our lives with. So I put together a strategy that I knew if I stayed the course of that strategy, it would greatly enhance my chances of finding that woman that I knew was out there. I knew she was out there and I knew she existed. But how could I find her in the sea of singles that are out there? Where do I start? I write a lot of this in the book. Guys, you definitely want to get the book. I'm not trying to promote the book. I'm trying to help you. But the first thing I did is I put together a character quality list. What were the character qualities that I was looking for in the person that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with? Now, everybody's character quality list is going to be different according to your own specific needs and desires. But the 5 that were at the top of my list are 5 that I think are universal, that you need to definitely have on your list. And then like mine, your list will expand a little bit from there. But my survival kit list, it was really my roadmap that guided me along the way. And if somebody did not have one or more of the character qualities that I was looking for, I quickly moved on. And I teach about all of that in the book as well, how to sift through the masses so that you can really save time and find that person that you really will enjoy spending the rest of your life with. So the first on my list was that she had to have a love and adoration for her father. If you're a woman and you're looking for a good man, you need to find a man that has a love and adoration for his mother. And also you have to be very, very diligent to see how his father treated his mother. Now, this is very, very important. And the reason is that however they look at the parent of the opposite sex is how they will look at you. So if they're looking at that parent with love and adoration, that love and adoration will spill over onto you during the time you're with them. But if they're bitter and they've got unhealed wounds in their heart towards that parent, that bitterness is also going to spill up over onto you, your entire marriage. So I put this as number 1. Number 2 is a love for God. Now, I was looking for somebody that not only had a love for God, but daily pursued him to go deeper. I was looking for someone that really loved God, that it wasn't just talking the talk, but it was truly walking the walk. So that was second. And the reason why, because I knew this, that, when 2 people get married, you bring 2 different, family cultures, maybe economical cultures, maybe educational differences. All of this comes together, and when you first become one, all of these things kind of separate you. But if you have God at the top and you're both pursuing God, the closer you get to God, the closer you get to each other. So I wanted to find somebody that pursued God with all of her heart, with all of her mind, and with all of her soul. The third thing that was very, very important to me was that we spoke the same love language. And if you've never read the book by Dr. Gary Chapman, I highly recommend it. This was so important to me that I would not compromise on this, because I'd gone to a short-term mission trip twice around Christmas time, 2 years in a row, that we brought Christmas to an orphanage in Guatemala. It's a beautiful orphanage outside of Guatemala City with just some wonderful children and an incredible staff. And the one thing that I realized when I was there, as much as I wanted to minister to the kids on a deeper level, I didn't speak Spanish. And it was very limiting, the amount of ministry I could do. When we ended up getting a divorce, one of the things that I made sure of that I was going to have on my character quality list was somebody that spoke the same love language. And the reason why is because I wanted to minister to my future wife on a much deeper level. And so I can tell you this personally. It is an unbelievable difference when you speak the same native love language. Mine is physical touch and words of affirmation. And so I was looking for somebody that had those same love languages as their native language. I cannot tell you how much of a blessing this has been. My wife, Rachel, and I, we wake up every morning, and the first thing that we do is speak our native language. It just comes naturally. Speaking the same love language has made all the difference in the world. I cannot encourage you enough. Go to Dr. Gary Chapman's website, or go to Amazon, buy the book, go to his website, take the test, learn what your love language is, and then look for somebody that has the same love language. The fourth thing I was looking for was a gifted supporter. I'm a gifted leader, and I wasn't looking for another one to lead. I was looking for a gifted supporter. And what I learned when I was in ministry for 20 years is that you have gifted leaders and you have gifted supporters. Two categories of people with multiple subcategories underneath those people. And this is something that I just learned through observation. The gifted leader couldn't lead if they didn't have a gifted supporter that came alongside of them and supported them. So I was looking for a gifted supporter. And the fifth thing I was looking for in a character quality for my future spouse was same vision for family. See, I was looking for somebody that wanted to be a wife and a mother, and somebody that this was their passion. Now, wherever you're at, some people want to have children, others don't. But prior to walking down the aisle and saying I do, you must make sure that you're on the same page in this area. That you both want to have a family, or you both don't want to have a family. Whatever it is, just make sure that you're on the same page, because this can become a major issue down the road. Now, one of the things that you're going to find along your journey as you are moving forward and trying to find your perfect match. It won't be a perfect person, because that doesn't exist, but your perfect match. There's going to be some dangers, and that's what we're going to talk about now. The three most common dangers that I found as I was searching for my perfect match, my forever love, was the catfish, the scammer, and the narcissist. You know, the two common things that all three of these very emotionally damaged people have is, first, they all lack empathy for others. They don't have the emotional circuitry that the rest of society has, where we could feel the pain of others. That's just not there for this type of person. And this comes from a deep emotional wound. And the second is, all three of them are master manipulators. As I began my journey, I ended up experiencing the misfortune of meeting all three. Now, I could have gotten discouraged and stopped my search, but I knew that would only lead me to a lifetime of loneliness, and I'm not created that way. I also knew that the greater the risk, the greater the reward. And because of that, I committed not to let these unfortunate people distract me from finding the person that I knew I'd spend the rest of my life with. And I was convinced she was out there looking for me as well. After experiencing the first two the catfish and the scammer, I devised a way that I could sift through these types of individuals very quickly and not waste time. And for the narcissist, I learned also how to identify the narcissist so that I wouldn't spend my time with that individual as well and waste my time. So I want to share with you what to look for when you're out there. For instance, the catfish, which I didn't even know what that term meant. I had no idea what that was. But in online dating, the catfish is a term that was coined because people were faking, who they were. They were sending pictures on these sites that weren't them. They were attracting people based on the pictures and false profiles. And I don't know what it is, if it's just a game with them. I don't know. But I experienced this on the largest Christian dating website in America. And I was brand new, and I was like, I had no idea there were people even out there doing something like that. I was totally blindsided by it. But then the scammers, for me, at first, again, like this was all new to me, and I didn't even know that existed. But one of the major news outlets did an expose on this, where women lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. One even lost $1.2 million. They're master manipulators when it comes to vulnerable singles' hearts. So you've got to be very, very careful. And what I recommend is you do not give your heart to anyone. If you feel that you're starting to fall in love with somebody, you need to back off a little bit so you can get to know the individual. But what these master manipulators do is they pour on the praise and the love until they have that person completely in their grasp, where people are exchanging, oh, I love you, I love you, I love you. And then once that occurs, then they pull back for one reason or another. They stop answering the calls. They stop responding to the messages until that person who they manipulated becomes desperate. And then they reach back out and they tell them some reason why they weren't able to. It was an emergency, and that emergency now has brought them into a place of financial hardship and that they need money. Guys, do not fall for this scam. If somebody needs money and you have ability to help them, don't give them a penny. Don't give them a penny. 99% of the time, you are being scammed, and it's probably higher than that. It's probably 99.99% of the time. You're being scammed. So I learned very quickly if an individual began to, reach out to me, and we began to communicate, and things were going well, and then they started to ask for money, I immediately blocked them. I immediately said, thank you, but no thank you. Bam, I blocked them. Do not give private information, personal information, credit card information. Don't send money Western Union. Don't do anything like that. And let me just, before I go into the third person, say one thing. You can set up a Zoom account for free so that you can communicate with the person you're talking to face to face, so you won't get catfished, anonymously. All you got to do is set up a free Zoom account. You can download it on your phone or on your laptop or computer. And then you give them the invite number, they'll come into your room. I know a lot of the dating sites give you the opportunity to have video conversations with people. Guys, if somebody is a catfish, that's the end of it right there. They're not going to come see you on camera. And if they're going to scam you, they don't have your personal information. Okay? Don't send money, no matter what the reason. No matter what, they're making it up, and they're manipulating your vulnerability as a single person. The third person I want to talk about is the narcissist. Now, the narcissist it's a whole new level of dysfunction. This is a deeply wounded individual emotionally And I'm not a licensed therapist, so any information that I give you right now is for informational purposes only, and it doesn't constitute medical advice or a diagnosis. But there are common behavioral patterns of individuals who could be suffering from chronic narcissism, or one of the many other personality disorders where narcissism is one of the symptoms thereof. Some of those personality disorders are borderline personality disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, histrionic personality disorder, and there's many more. But of these personality disorders, narcissism is normally a symptom of, and once you identify it, and I explain a lot of the behavioral patterns in the book, but once you have identified that this person in all likelihood is suffering from this condition, this is way above your pay grade. You need to softly back out and stop the relationship. Because if you don't, you're going to end up with a lifetime of pain and regret. And if that's what you are looking for, then by all means, move forward in that type of relationship. If you want a high stress marriage and a high stress family, go ahead. That's all up to you. But if you don't, heed my warning. Back out. And I wouldn't even suggest counseling, because you'll become the villain at that point. Just back away and let God take it from there, and thank Him that He gave you the information that you needed to recognize that, be aware of it, and move on. Some of the symptoms with somebody that suffers from narcissism is again, they lack empathy. Their emotional circuitry is no longer connected. During a high traumatic emotional situation, whether it be as a child or an adult, God's given us all a self-preservation switch to preserve our lives so that we don't fall apart and go into a nervous breakdown. We can shut off during a high trauma situation, shut off the emotional circuitry, so that we can function and live and survive. And the individual that's been wounded deeply as a child or an adult, the only way to reconnect that is through counseling and psychotherapy. And so, again, this is way above our pay grade, guys. You've got to turn that over to God and let God take them from there. They also seem to find themselves at the center of drama, and they're the victim of that drama all the time. And they never take ownership for their part of the trauma, and they'll quickly deflect that blame on others. And if you are somebody that's close to them, they'll deflect it on you. They'll demean, they'll devalue you, especially others that are close to them. If you're close to them, if you're part of their family, if you're married to them, or you are in a relationship with them, they will begin to demean you. And they commonly dress themselves in perfection. They could be arrogant, controlling, and the need to be right to the detriment of others, even their own children, guys. What you want to do when you recognize the signs is to slowly back out of the relationship. This individual can actually be dangerous. So just slowly back out and give that over to God and ask God to lead them, that individual, to somebody that can really help them. It's not somebody that you should be trying to help, because they need professional help. My advice, again, is to pray for them, to gently back out of the relationship, brush yourself off, move forward, and thank God that He spared you and your offspring a lifetime of pain, embarrassment, and misfortune. Now, I've been on this journey to find my forever love for a couple of years by this time. And I met so many awesome women that, for one reason or another, it wasn't the right timing, or maybe they didn't have a character quality I was looking for. And then I would quickly move on. Well, I'd actually, just by chance, was on another Christian site that had international members. And I noticed that the girls from the Philippines, most of them in their profiles wrote that they aspired to be great wives and mothers, probably 85% of them. So I decided, I would probably increase my chances finding the type of woman I was looking for easier if I looked towards the Philippines. When I met Rachel, I couldn't believe how just sweet and kind she was. As we progressed in talking, she had everything I was looking for. She loved God. She was pursuing him. She wanted to be a wife and a mother, and just everything was there. But she didn't speak English very well, and there were a couple other things that concerned me, but they weren't on my list. But at the same time, I'd come to a place where I thought, well, maybe it would be better if her and I just moved on and found somebody that was, a little bit more compatible for each other. And I moved on, and it was probably about 8 months later. I was actually getting tired of the search, to be honest with you. What ended up happening was I had dropped the girls off at school, and I was just getting ready for my work day, and I had the TV on, and it was like one of the morning talk shows, one of the national talk shows. And this particular morning, they had a psychologist that specialized in online dating. And I turned up the volume because I wanted to hear what she had to say. And this lady read my mail. I mean, she described the last few years of my life to a T. So I was all ears. And one of the things that she said is, what online dating did is it opened up a plethora of singles that are available that an individual couldn't have access to prior to the invention of the internet and dating sites. Prior to that, you would meet somebody, in your local area at school or at work or at church or a bar, and that's how people would meet. And it was a little bit of a crapshoot whether you're going to find somebody that's going to be a perfect fit for you. Whereas online, you have just a huge amount of numbers of singles that are looking for love. And so she nailed that, obviously. And then she said something that forever changed me. She said to her, the biggest danger, and she talked about the scammers and all of that. She said, but the biggest danger was people would meet somebody that had all the qualifications they were looking for, but they would quickly move on and pass that person up and would go from non-interpersonal relationship to non-interpersonal relationship, thinking that they could find somebody better. And that is exactly what I had been doing. There is such a smorgasbord out there of singles. There's such a plethora of singles out there that I thought I could find somebody better, and I'd meet somebody that would have the qualities that I was looking for, but I would move on thinking that I could find somebody even better. And after I turned that off, I sat and I thought about all of the women that I had talked to, and one stood out that had everything I was looking for. And other than her difficulty speaking English, she had everything I was looking for. She loved and adored her father. She loved God with all of her heart. We spoke the same love languages. She was a gifted supporter, and she wanted to be a mom and a wife. So I immediately went back and reached out to Rachel, and I was hoping that she hadn't met somebody yet, and that she was still available. When she responded to me, she wasn't happy. I mean, she had really grown to like me in the time that we spent together, but she was open to rekindling that. Long story short, I made up my mind at that point that I was going to the Philippines to meet her and meet her family to make sure that she was the same person in person that she was on camera, that her personality was the same, that she really did love and adore her father and her mom. And I wanted to meet them. I wanted to meet her brothers and her sisters and the people that she was around, so that I could know for sure that this was the person I was going to spend the rest of my life with. And when I got to the Philippines, she was more than what I had expected. She was everything I was looking for. I made a decision when we were in the Philippines that this is the woman, if she would have me, that I really believed was my forever love, the woman that I would spend the rest of my life with. And we got married March 16th of 2018 and began an incredible journey together. I can't tell you how thankful I am that I stayed the course, guys. She has brought so much love and peace and joy into my life. She is a true gift from God. But that gift of God did not come without hard work and effort on my part to find her. I said at the beginning, I knew she was out there. And I knew that if I didn't give up, I'd find her. And guys, that's the greatest secret of finding forever love, guys, is not giving up. Having a list, having a roadmap that will keep you safe along your journey by sticking to the guidelines that you preset, and then not giving up until you find that person that is perfectly designed just for you. So I can't encourage you enough. If you are looking for your forever love, and maybe you've gotten to the point where I was getting just kind of tired of the search, I can't encourage you enough. Go to our website. It's howtofindforeverlove.com and order the book. And you can order it from Apple Books, Amazon. You can see the links here on the website, or click on the link below and get started right away. I can't, again, encourage you enough. This book will really help you. So I encourage you to go there as quickly as possible. I'm going to take you to the next slide, because for a limited time, I'm going to be offering pre-marriage coaching. So go to the website again, howtofindforeverlove.com. If you'd like the coaching, you can fill that out, and we'll do our best to help you find your absolute best perfect match. Now, the last thing that I'd like to share with you is actually something I'd like to ask your help with. You know, we have a mission to reduce the divorce rate worldwide by helping singles find their absolute best match before walking down the aisle and saying I do. But in order to do that, I need your help. And it's very easy, very simple. And that's one, to like and subscribe here on this YouTube channel. And that will begin to boost our ratings and the algorithms for YouTube. But it's the same thing also with Amazon and Apple and the other bookstores if you purchase the book online. If you enjoyed the book and you believe the book can help you in your search to find your forever love, then please give us a rating there and comment if you like the book. And that's really all I'm asking. Both Amazon and Apple and the other bookstores, if they start getting reviews and comments on a book, their algorithm begins to promote the book as well. And again, please hear my heart. We're trying to help people, and we would like to start a global movement to help reduce the divorce rate and the pain that comes with that globally by helping people find their perfect match. And if you can be a part of that, just with a small gesture, filling out a review on the bookstore that you purchased it from, or also subscribing here on YouTube, it'd be a real blessing, not just to us, but to those that'll find us, because you made the effort to help us. And with that, I'd like to say thank you. God bless, and you have a great rest of your day.